Hello and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 and hits 103.9 FM in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Sankara FM Yendi, Laura FM Laura, Cassiel FM Cape Coast, and Radio Max Takoradi. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, minority leader gave strongest hint that boycotting parliamentary sittings is just the beginning of activities they'll roll out to fight government persecution of its members.
It's just the beginning of series of activities that the NDC minority will be taking.
Meanwhile, Parliament passes law allowing the cultivation and use of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes after it was earlier struck out by the Supreme Court.
Narcotics Control Commission Amendment Bill 2023 is deemed read the third time and passed.
Also, in today's edition of our Floods of Trauma series, we head to the Shanti region communities of Ohrim and Sewa, where residents have abandoned their homes following flooding there. In business,
General Agricultural Workers Union expresses alarm at the neglect of the fisheries sector, leading to the high cost of fish products on the market. We've got details on the Joy Business Report.
Also coming up, we'll hear from business magnate Sir Sam Jonah, who says he's disheartened by the number of health professionals exiting the country on a daily basis.
It is disheartening to read and hear in the media the massive exodus of Ghanaian health providers, especially our nurses, to seek greener pastures.
We have details as it calls for innovative ways of returning such brains into the country. Later in the news, we'll take you to the eastern region town of Enum and tell you the story behind the prohibition of keeping dogs.
The reason we don't keep dogs in this town is because our deity guards the people with his own dogs.
I am Amisi Yamche Thompson. Details shortly. Minority Leader in Parliament, Cassiel Ato Forson, has made it clear that boycotting parliamentary sittings in solidarity with their colleague is the first in a series of action they will roll out to compel government to stop its vile persecution. The Assin North MP, Gyakye Quayson, is currently standing trial of allegations of perjury and forgery. Dr. Forson also mentioned that the position of the minority will not change course until justice is served. He was speaking on PM Express.
This is our first sign or first activity that we are doing. There are so many other things we are going to do in the coming days. We may escalate it to another level. I won't take you through that. In as much as they want him to go to court on a daily basis, we will also boycott and attend court with him on a daily basis until there's a change. There are times that it may be more than a boycott. It's just the beginning of series of activities that the NDC minority will be taking.
Also, the minority leader wants a public sitting on the leaked audio aiming to remove the Inspector General of Police, George Ekufu-Dampare. He's calling for a forensic examination on the matter.
We want the terms of reference to include forensic examination of the tape. We can engage experts for us to find out if that statement is indeed coming from that COP, whoever they call him.
So you want this sitting done in public?
In public, and it should be starting soon, as early as tomorrow, if possible.
As in cameras allowed into the sitting of this particular program.
Exactly, and we want all the individuals whose names were mentioned in the tape to be present. And we'll play this and ask them whether this is their voices.
Cassiel Ato Forson is minority leader in Parliament. We stay in Parliament where the House has passed an amendment to the Narcotics Control Commission Act after the Supreme Court struck out Section 43 of the law as unconstitutional. Section 43 empowered the Interior Minister to grant license to an entity to cultivate a small quantity of cannabis in Ghana for industrial and medicinal purposes. The Supreme Court said because there was no debate on the floor on that section, it was null and void. The Speaker of Parliament and the Interior Minister took on the court for that order. Parliament has now amended the law and inserted the same provision back into the law, paving the way for cultivation and use of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes.
Motion that the Narcotics Control Commission Amendment Bill 2023 be now read the third time. Minister for Interior.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I move that the Narcotics Control Commission Amendment Bill 2023 be now read the third time.
The question is that those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Honorable members, the Narcotics Control Commission Amendment Bill 2023 is deemed read the third time and passed.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin there. Now, business magnate and Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Sam Jonah, has described the exodus of health professionals exiting the country as disheartening. He says the development is unhealthy and requires that government employs innovative ways of keeping such brains in the country. In furtherance of the attainment of the universal health coverage, he was speaking at the maiden matriculation and graduation ceremony of the Esiman Nurses and Midwifery Training College.
It is disheartening to read and hear in the media the massive exodus of Ghanaian health providers, especially our nurses, to seek greener pastures abroad. These are our heroes abandoning ship for better opportunities. As a nation, if we are to reverse this trend and meet the goals we have set for ourselves, then we need to take a critical look and devise innovative solutions to meet the challenges we face. We cannot simply afford this terrible exodus.
Says Sam Jonah is business magnate and Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. Living in a perennial flooding community can be very distressing. There have been many instances where flooding and stagnant waters have led to the loss of lives and property. In today's episode of Floods of Trauma, Nana Boakye Yadom visits Owim and Sewa in the Shanti region, where residents have abandoned their homes.
Each year, flooding causes more deaths than any other hazard related to thunderstorms. It wreaks havoc on development infrastructure and increases human casualties all over the world. In the Ashanti region, Ohum and Sewa are known as flooding communities. Residents experience heavy flooding anytime there is a downpour. Adjoa Tichiwa and Mary Owusu are residents of Ohum and victims of floods in the community. They narrate the difficulties they go through anytime there is a downpour.
Anytime it floods, the Yenasu River is unable to house the flood water, allowing it to get into my house. We would realize everything is wet, including our mattresses.
And so Banechi side you speed the pant. It's one and baby I'm far. And a midjania a booming sem.
I broke my arm when my house got flooded. The flood waters are heavy, so while escaping, I twisted my arm. We plead with the government to do something about this.
And that was Nana Boakye Yadom's report there. Now, the Daily Graphic is reporting that the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice has thrown out a suit against the government of Ghana, challenging the propriety of a gold royalties monetization transaction arrangement, popularly referred to as the Ejapa deal. Our legal affairs correspondent, Joseph Akable, has details and joins me with the details. Joseph, what does it say there?
And so this was a case that was filed by 3 anti-corruption groups: Transparency International, Ghana Integrity Initiative, and the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. They dragged government to the Commission's court in December 2020, seeking an order to halt the Ejapa deal. But the court has dismissed the case, upholding the arguments of the Attorney General. The detailed reasons of the court are yet to be made available.
Thank you, Joseph, and definitely be following up on that one. Now to Tech Thursday. Getting water from the ground is capital intensive and laborious. Climate change has also worsened the reliability of these groundwater systems. The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is therefore employing artificial intelligence to predict water availability in the ground. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has more for Tech Thursday.
Now, according to the principal investigator, Dr. Cyril Boateng of the Department of Physics, the project will build an AI-based system for groundwater which can be accessed by the public through their smartphones and computers.
We want to create a system where you can go to a website, just put in your location, and then the output you receive will tell you, okay, if you drill a borehole to 50 meters, 70 meters, or 100 meters, whatever the case may be, you will get groundwater in this location. Possibly in the future, we want to extend it to the point where you could even just check what will be the quality of water that I will get in this area. Or is there possibility that the water will be polluted, maybe because there's a factory near you and all that.
Let's take you to the town of Enum where there are no dogs.
In the eastern region town of Enum, you may never hear the barking of a live dog. If you ever do, it may either be from your television or an audio recording. Moving around the town, you will find cats, goats, and other animals. But for dogs, no way.
As for me, I would have preferred to keep dogs because they can be used for security at home and hunting. But our elders are insisting we go by the instructions of the gods. We can't do anything about it.
What lay at the heart of this intriguing custom? Kofi Osai, the revered Asafwache of the Nimfa division in the Num traditional area, explains.
The reason we don't keep dogs in this town is because our deity guards the people with his own dogs. He dislikes the barking of other dogs who may see him patrolling the town at night and prefers to operate in silence without attracting any attention. That is why community members have been instructed not to keep dogs in this town.
And you heard Samuel Imbua's report on dogs, and that ends the bulletin. In our top story, Minority Leader gives strongest hint that boycotting parliamentary sittings is just the beginning of activities to be rolled out to fight government's persecution of its members. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Business is next on the Super Morning Show.